going on, everybody? Welcome to the RBS Cinema Podcast.
I know Kung Fu. Show me.
This is Sparta! I'm thinking I'm back.
Why so serious?
Avengers!
Assemble. I'm Batman.
You better lawyer up, asshole. Because I'm not coming back for 30%. I'm coming back for everything.
I'll be back.
You shall not pass!
RBS.
Lovely.
Welcome, everybody, to a new episode of RBS Cinema. This week's episode, we are talking about Monster Hunter. From 2020. Is it 2020?
Yes, it's 2020.
Okay, good. I did get it right. Even though I didn't even remember. Anyhow, I'm your host, Devin. With me, as always, is co-host Jack.
I'm still Jack.
And happy birthday, Jack. This is Jack's birthday episode.
And what a great gift this is to be able to talk about this film.
He decided that he wanted to talk about Monster Hunter. So, and for those of you that are catching up with us, we are at the end of our video game movie month. So, hence the reason why we were talking about Monster Hunter in the first place. And it kind of goes along with the theme because Jack really likes Monster Hunter, as you can see from his shirt.
I do. For all you visual listeners.
Yes.
I'm wearing a shirt with the mascot of Monster Hunter World on it. So this is not the first Monster Hunter shirt that I've worn on this podcast, by the way. You might have noticed it from some other episodes. I decided to wear a cool shirt. But I wanted to wear this one because we're talking about Monster Hunter specifically. So
yeah. So, but I am excited for next month because it is going to be the spooky month.
Yes.
And we got some good stuff coming. So, can't wait. Really excited.
Let's hope so.
And it'll be another few weeks up until the 1 year anniversary for the podcast. So,
exciting.
Let's go. But without further ado, what have you been watching, Jack? Anything? Nothing?
I actually watched a couple films over the past couple of days. I rewatched Moneyball, The Big Short, and I watched The Blind Side yesterday.
Oh, nice.
So
3 sports movies, but 2 that are...
No. 2 of them are sports movies, technically, and then The Big Short is about the financial crash of 2008.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, you're right.
So...
All really good movies.
Love those movies. I bought them. I have them purchased on YouTube. So
nice.
I'll watch those movies as many times as I can. Moneyball is so good.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I really liked Moneyball. Remember seeing it like years ago when I used to live at my mom's, and I also used to have The Big Short on DVD when I used to work at the movie theater. I got it as like a special prize. Because, like, we had, like, a special chest. It's kind of like a prize chest type thing, I guess. And there was just, like, a bunch of different, like, DVDs, posters that, like, you couldn't really, like, get if you were on crew. Or that they were just, like, in the upstairs, like, quote-unquote, office area type thing where they had them up on the walls, and so they brought them down, so... But, yeah, I got that. I also got, because I got this holographic Reen 2 poster, which is pretty cool. So.
Oh, nice. So, since we knew that this movie was coming up this week, I made a promise to Devin this past week that I would keep my thoughts as concise as possible, because for any of you listeners, you probably know that I like to rant about some
long-time listeners of the podcast.
Yeah.
Shout out to you guys.
So if you don't know me, I tend to get very passionate about certain things that I notice, or I like to ramble a lot. And so, that being said, as this is probably one of my favorite video game franchises of all time, I have a lot to say about it. So I will try to keep it relevant to the movie at hand and not go too far into, this is what actually happens in the games, because unlike the past 2 movies that we just did, where we did Doom and Max Payne, while Doom is just sort of a take on the the franchise through the view of the director, and then Max Payne is its own thing as well, and that's not really much to do with the games. They did try to do that in this movie, but it didn't work.
Yeah.
So, but with that being said, as I do know a lot about the games, I will try to keep things relevant and not stray too much into like the actual lore and stuff like that. So, because Monster Hunter lore is while it's not super deep like a franchise like Warhammer 40K, it is a lot of stuff. So
yeah, it's got a lot of lore. Kind of have to know, especially in the game, know what monsters fight against which monsters. So like make armor, make weapons and stuff like that.
It's an action RPG basically. Is what Monster Hunter is.
And like you have different. It's not classes, but like you can customize your armor to have specific attributes that you want.
You could say that there's 14 different play styles. Like there's different weapons and stuff that you can use to take down big monsters and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So that's like a baseline of what Monster Hunter is without going into too much detail.
Yeah. So before we go further into talking about more in depth about the movie, I finally got my Ballerina Steelbooks.
Oh, you did?
Yes.
Nice.
From last week. So
I still need to see John Wick 4, and then I need to see Ballerina.
Well, you can watch Ballerina now.
Oh, yeah.
Because, like,
It's on streaming right now, right?
Ballerina is in between chapters 3 and 4.
Isn't Superman now on streaming as well?
Yeah, it's on HBO Max. I just saw that.
Oh, I need to watch that.
It's really good. You should.
Maybe I'll watch that later this week when football has not completely encapsulated me, because it's the Nebraska-Michigan game today. 2:30, so that'll be interesting, and then
sports,
more NFL Sunday tomorrow. So that's what I'm doing basically when I'm not playing video games or watching movies for the podcast. Is I'm watching sports. So now you know my whole life.
That's okay. But yeah, I got not one but two of them because of course.
Yeah.
Because they had two different exclusives. They had Walmart and they had an Amazon one. Amazon one was sold out, so unfortunately I had to pay a little bit more to get it through eBay from somebody that was selling it. And I was all like, okay, well, it's better than nothing. It was under $100. It was like $70 after like shipping and handling and stuff. So I was like, all right, like that's fine. I've paid more for a Steelbook, honestly, and it kind of sucks. But I got the Walmart one originally. Okay, so this is what pissed me off. Okay. For one, scalpers.
Right? Oh, yeah. Scalpers are terrible.
Here's what grinds my gears is scalpers, more specifically in this context. Because, like, what do you mean that these movies, both of them, are sold out on both platforms or retailers, and they are, like, now being sold secondhand through somebody else because they want to actually make a quick buck. And it's like, for somebody like me, I can't go to the store, like Walmart in this case, and go and pick up this movie, which is very frustrating. It was kind of like back when the Pandy happened.
Yeah.
And you couldn't get a PS5
the Pandy.
Because of the fact that, like, they weren't being sold because the manufacturers couldn't get the computer chips for them and stuff.
Right.
And so, like, everybody would go to the store or go online and buy them out on these retail stores and then sell them for even higher price.
Yep.
So it sucks.
People do that. Like, people really took advantage of the pandemic.
Yeah.
For that very reason, is to be able to buy up goods and then be able to sell them back at like. Remember, people were doing that with toilet paper when the pandemic first started.
Yeah. Because everybody
panicked.
Nobody knew what the disease was going to do.
Yeah.
Like nobody knew what was going to happen, so they just immediately started buying toilet paper.
Yeah.
And then, like, after that, now it's like a lot more relaxed, right? Because we're a few years out of it and stuff.
It's a crazy thing to think about.
Right. Like, all of this, like, I mean, honestly, that whole time felt like it was like 5 years. So
yeah.
And now it feels like that everything's going back to normal, but now it's just even worse. Now it's just worse in general. But trying to make this a good time. So
I'm glad that you brought up the pandemic because this movie came out in 2020.
Yeah.
So
it was in the middle of the pandemic.
Would you like to hear a stat about this movie?
We'll get to that after.
You want to finish your thought?
Yeah. So I finally managed to get the Ballerina Steelbooks.
Yeah.
And I wanted to pre-order them. Okay, so the original thought that I had before I went off into this tangent about the pandemic and scalpers was that I went to go on the Walmart app and I was all like, hey, I want to see if this is available. It's available at the store. And there's only one store in the area that had it. And I was like, okay, cool. Like I'll order it for a pickup. And maybe like minutes later or something like that, they texted me back. They were like, hey, like it looks like that we don't have your item. Here's an option for you to get it shipped to your house, and like here's the code and stuff. I was like, okay, cool. So I get it like delivered and stuff, and so like it was going to be here by Friday. It's like, okay, cool, awesome, not a problem, not a big deal. I got it free shipped, so it's whatever. Then they were running late, so they didn't deliver it on Friday. And even though it said it was out for delivery, so then I was like, okay, like whatever. So it was going to be available on Saturday. I was like, okay, cool. Like that's not a problem. They tried to deliver it at my apartment's office building, and they're closed after a certain time on the weekend, like on Saturday specifically. Sunday they're not even there. They're just closed. And it was like around 5 o'clock that they went to go and deliver my steelbook, but they couldn't. So I'm just like, why are you delivering it over there? Why don't you either just put it in the Amazon lockers or deliver it to my building, or you can also just bring it to my mailbox. So there's many different options. I don't know if I needed a signature. I don't think it really needed one, honestly, but that's besides the point. And so I finally got it like on Monday with my eBay steelbook that I got. So but I managed to get them both, so that's great.
There you go.
I really haven't had a whole lot of time to like watch movies this week, but last night I watched Flight because I bought that because it was on sale for $5 on digital. So
what's that one about?
It's got Denzel Washington in it. It's about him being an airplane pilot.
Yeah.
And it gets into like an accident.
Oh, okay.
And so like the plane crashes, so they start doing an investigation on him about like the fact that he's an alcoholic.
Oh, okay.
So they are trying to dive into the fact of what went wrong with the plane, what made it crash, if it was a pilot error, if it was a mechanical error, what's the issue. So like they're investigating this sort of thing. And so the whole movie is just like investigating him, or not investigating him. It's all about him coming to grasp with the fact that he's an alcoholic and that he has a problem with alcohol, and he's trying to get this whole thing under control with him being investigated about the crash and stuff. So it's really good.
Really?
It's a little over 2 hours.
You wouldn't figure that. Oh, it's over 2 hours.
It's a little over 2 hours. It's like 2 hours, 15 minutes, I think.
That premise does not sound very interesting at first.
It doesn't, but it is really good though.
Yeah, because I've seen it a lot on like when I'm
like
looking
clips
at like
and stuff.
like no, not even clips. Like I see it like for rent and like in places like stuff like that. And I was it's looked interesting. It's got demos I watched him, but I don't really know too much about it. So I'll have to check it out next time I see it.
Yeah, he flies a plane in the beginning of it, and that's the only time he actually flies a plane. Otherwise, he's just drinking and stuff. 95% of the movie. Well, actually, throughout the whole movie, in fact. And there are certain instances to where like he stops drinking, like after the crash happens. He like he's being heroicized, if that's a word. Basically the media is calling him a hero because he saved the plane. He had 102 passengers on board, I think, and there was only like 4 passengers and 2 flight attendants that were in the accident that got killed. So
I think the word you're thinking of is heralded.
Yeah, that's the word. So and so he doesn't want the attention, and so like they're scoping out his place, they're scoping out like places he might go, and he goes to his old family's farm, and he was looking to sell it and stuff like that, so he is there for like
Okay, you don't have to
majority
tell
of
me
the
the whole
movie.
plot.
But yeah, so like it's really good. But yeah, and so like of course I was drinking at the time last night. So one of my favorite bits is because I listen to the There Are Too Many Movies podcast. They talk about the movie from time to time of going like, I'm drunk right now.
On the morning of the accident,
I was drunk. I'm drunk now.
So because he has his hearing and stuff, so like it's really good. I definitely recommend checking it out, especially for those of you that are listening, watching, however you guys are doing it. Really appreciate you doing this. Definitely go and check that out. Be sure to subscribe to the channel. Leave a comment in the comment section. Leave a comment in the comment section below about a movie that you guys want us to talk about, whether that's new, old, your favorite, whatever have you. Be sure to share this around with anybody that you think that might like, you know, people talking about movies in general, whatever. And yeah, so let's go ahead and get into Monster Hunter.
Yep.
As Jack looks bored over here. Okay, so what were you going to tell me earlier?
Oh, I was gonna say, well, you know, like how the this movie came out in 2020, like middle of the pandemic.
Yeah.
This movie's budget, $60 million. Mm-hmm. Box office, $47.9 million.
47.9.
Pretty sure.
Well, I know that there were some theaters that were still open, right?
Yep, $47.9 million for its box office.
That's crazy. But I also know why that they didn't get their money back. So
And this film that was in conception since 2012. Mm-hmm. Production on the film began in 2018.
I think I was reading up on this stuff. So
And it was completed in principal photography began in October, and then it was completed in December of 2018.
yeah,
And the film aired 2 years later.
right.
And it did very poorly abroad because of, apparently, there was some sort of friction in China where there was a racist joke.
Oh yeah,
made.
yeah. I do remember this because like I think it was like T.I. He said something about his knees and he goes like Chinese.
They're Chinese.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that
was a backlash that happened for the movie.
And fun fact, that actually spilled over into reviews for Monster Hunter World, the video game.
Which doesn't make any
sense. You had Chinese review
Characters.
bombers,
Oh.
you had Chinese review bombers just tanking the game because of the racist joke made
That's not
in this movie.
That's not even in the game though. That doesn't
So-
make any sense. Like the movie has very little to do with the game. Like it just basically, this is my biggest thing that I hate about video game movies that are like this, is that it's just like, hey, let's just make a generic movie that we just slap this skin over, like Borderlands. It's all like, oh, let's just make Guardians of the Galaxy but slap Borderlands over it. I literally said that in my Borderlands movie review, which you guys haven't seen that, go check that out. Shameless plug. But yeah, like I hate when there's movies like this that do that, to where they just like, hey, let's just make this generic type of movie, but just slap this over it.
You know what this movie is? It's Transformers 1,
but instead of it being Transformers, it's
and what
Monster
if
Hunter.
there were less Transformers?
Right.
And all of them, there are only really 3 Transformers, right? But it's all being filmed in the desert.
Right.
In the desert part of Transformers.
Oh, yeah.
That's what this movie is.
Right.
That's exactly what this movie is.
Because, like, they I think that they planned to have, like, a bunch of different monsters in this movie, but they just couldn't because of, like, the budget constraints and, all that bunch of stuff.
They've been planning this movie since it's been in conception since 2012.
Right.
And production took only 2 years. And then,
Right.
and you can tell because oh boy, some of the scenes or some of the backgrounds look very cheap.
Yeah,
Look
100%.
Very, very cheap shooting locations.
Yeah,
So we'll get to that, but
right.
we should probably go over
Well-
the synopsis.
Yeah, let's go ahead and dive right into Monster Hunter. So, bare bones of what the movie is about. When Captain Artemis and her loyal soldiers are transported to a new world, they engage in a desperate battle for survival against enormous enemies with incredible powers. Feature film based on the video game by Capcom. I'm pretty sure they regret making this anyway, or partnering with our director, Paul W.S. Anderson. And if you don't know, he directed the Resident Evil movies.
films, yes. And he also directed Mortal Kombat.
The
1995.
1995. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right. I do remember that. Yeah.
So that's funny. If we had talked about Mortal Kombat, we would have gone directly into another Paul W.S. Anderson movie.
Yeah.
And obviously, we're starring Mila Jovovich, his
Yep.
wife, his lovely wife.
Well, we'll get into writers who he also wrote it, but also Kaname Fujioka.
I believe that Kaname Fujioka is one of the writers for Monster Hunter.
Yeah. But yes, like you said, we got Mila Jovovich, who they are married to each other, both her and the director, Paul W.S. Anderson. Which,
yes.
of course, whenever I think he ever does a movie, she is in it.
Yeah. Yeah, for the most part.
Because
after Resident Evil, I think.
Yeah, because he did Resident Evil, and so she was in that, and then he directed this, and then so she was in it, of course. And so she plays as Artemis.
Which stupid name.
That is a really dumb name. And then we got Tony Ya, who is the hunter. And we got Ron Perlman, who I forgot was in this movie entirely, who's only in it in like the beginning and then towards the end. That's it.
Yep.
Who plays as the Admiral. We got T.I., who plays as Lincoln. Got Diego Bonita. I'm feeling Bonita today.
Do you or do you not feel bonita?
I feel bonita.
Wonderful, because you look bonita.
Plays as Marshall. Megan Good as Dash. Josh Hellman as Steeler. And Jin Aoyan as Axe.
Who cares? The cast is inconsequential except for maybe the free names we just listed.
because we only really care about Mila Jovovich, Tony Ya,
And the Admiral.
Ron Perlman, and maybe T.I. A little bit of T.I.
Maybe.
By
the way, Kaname Fujioka was the executive director for Monster Hunter World. So
I figured as much.
So he was he basically helped like the lead of the game basically, and he also helped make Monster Hunter 3. So
Interesting.
storied. So like they had to bring him on to just be able to like help with the world building and stuff like that, which
Right.
there isn't a lot of. Oh my god, I'm looking at the taglines that Devin is showing me right now, and there's two of them.
So I got a couple taglines here for you, Jack.
A couple.
It is.
That's a good summation.
Yep. Join the hunt 2020, and the hunt begins. Which there's not really a whole lot of hunting in this movie.
Maybe I'd say there's
There's
maybe
like one scene that they hunt.
Maybe two hunts. I'd say most of it's just running away from monsters.
Well, yeah. Which is really stupid. So, what was it? I had something up. Oh, yeah, I have it up on my notes. So let's go ahead and talk more in depth about the movie. I did read this on the movie. So, Anderson really wanted to make this movie because he really likes the game series and stuff. And so he said that he wanted the lead character. Like, here's the reason why that we have like these military, like this group of military guys in the world of Monster Hunter, is because that, which I have it written down, is like he wanted the lead character to be from outside the Monster Hunter universe, as he wanted to introduce the world to the moviegoer in the same way he had experienced the games for the first time himself.
Yep, I read that as well. But if you wanted to do that, you probably pick the worst possible character archetype for that, which is NATO military in the desert.
Right, because when they're driving through the desert in the beginning of part of the movie, Mila Jovovich like gets asked by the girl driving the Jeep and or the Hummer or whatever, basically the car, and so she just goes like, what do you make of all these like stones and hieroglyphs and stuff? And she goes like, well, I'm a Marine, I'm not an archaeologist. So
cool. I'm
glad
that we established that. That's
awesome.
That's
like you're not in the least curious about this, but
Nope.
I know that there are like portrayals in movies of like military guys that are this way. They go like, I don't give a shit, like I don't get paid enough for this.
And that's a great example. Like, you could have had an archaeologist, you could have had a biologist,
Right.
you could have had an actual hunter, you know, like maybe not a big game hunter, but like you could have had it like a person
like somebody that would
like
go
like
hunting.
an expeditionist
or
something like
went
that.
hunting as a kid and their dad showed
Like
them how
or
to hunt.
like if you had maybe a scientist,
Right.
be basically, because the whole premise of this film is it's a multiversal like people from the real world are going into the monster hunter world,
Yeah.
which is a bad premise because that never happens in the games.
No, it's its own established universe to where you don't have the real world, like our world concept in that game at all. It's its own like thing, essentially.
Yeah. So, and the fact that the W.S. Anderson, whatever his name is, who's called like the director, wanted to immerse the viewer in the same way into a new fantasy world. Like, we haven't been already like in this world of Lord of the Rings
Right.
and you know, Game of Thrones. Like, people are pretty like, people don't need exposition, or they don't need a reason to like follow the events of a character who is thrust into a world they don't know.
Yeah, I especially well, I'll let you continue your thought. Sorry.
No, but like you can have a character that's already established in the world that you make. You just have to do a little bit of exposition to be able to explain some stuff, instead of just thrusting the main character into this world and giving absolutely no explanation of what anything is going on.
Oh yeah.
Why monsters are like this, why people speak in this different language, like where they are.
Right.
There's none of that. There's no exposition in this film.
Yeah, no. Like, because he's talking in a completely different language and she's talking in English to him, and like he doesn't like, apparently they understand each other, I guess, maybe.
For the most part.
But like it's all about like context clues, right?
And
like,
he used a lot of like
hand movements
hand
and
movements
gestures.
and like
Because like
he
at one
play
point
acts.
when they actually like stop kicking the shit out of each other, and they actually start talking, she says that like she's a ranger, so of course like she makes a hand motion to be like gun, and it's like and
he has
stuff.
no idea
And
what that
then-
means.
And so he goes like, oh, and he goes like, he makes the hand gesture of like doing the bow and arrow.
Yeah.
And so she goes like, oh, so you're a hunter. And he goes like, yeah, a hunter. And it's only because that she has her Velcro of ranger like thing on there. So but yeah, like I hate when directors or studios try to thrust us into a story, especially if like, you know, like in this context where it's Monster Hunter, right? You don't need to like have a lore dump of like what's going on. You just need to make it good in that sense. It's you're having this no name, no like sensical character in a movie that they don't belong in, that they're introduced as the movie goer, and it's all like, here,
Like, you want them
let's
to be
take this character that has nothing to do with the movie or the game at all. Let's put them in there, and then let's just have them be the average moviegoer.
Like army flick versus like giant monsters. Like sometimes they go together. Like let's say for example like the MonsterVerse, like the Godzilla movies.
Yeah.
So that sometimes that works, but you have to have the monsters take center stage, and they don't do that. If you go into this film and you see the army guys at the beginning, and you're like, okay, those are the good guys, right? Anytime you see a monster in this film, they're just there to be killed. by the main guys. So
I
you
mean,
don't
like,
you don't understand like what the significance of the monster is. They're just
yeah.
like, oh, there's just an obstacle.
Yeah.
And they're like a demon or something like that. Because like Diablos kind of looks like he has a horn. He's a horned monster.
Yeah.
Obviously, like they're thinking, oh, we got to kill that thing.
Right.
And it's like, that's not how it is sort of in the games, where the monsters take center stage. And they're basically animals. They're just giant.
Right.
They should have approached this film with more of an understanding of the monsters like they did in maybe Jurassic Park, where instead of the dinosaurs being monsters, they're just animals that are trying to exist, basically, and then the humans react poorly to them. Mm-hmm. Is what I'm trying to say. They should have gone with, but instead it's this generic army flick of guys shooting things and taking down giant monsters, and then they get to the end of the movie and they save the day and roll credits. You know?
Yeah, because like one of the things I thought was dumb in the movie was like the beginning like quote, if you will. It was it is entirely possible that behind the perception of our senses, new worlds are hidden of which we are totally unaware. What the fuck does that mean?
They're leaning entirely into the fact that like universes are colliding, and I'm so done with this whole multiverse thing that it's just seeping into every single aspect of fiction now.
Well, it's like, oh yeah, like there's another universe that we're unaware of, but you just have to look in the right spot. Is essentially what that means.
But they didn't. They just
came across it
by accident.
Right. It's all like nothing was triggered. Nothing happened to where like this storm came in for them to actually be transported into the monster universe. And so like that to me is just really fucking
by
dumb.
Magic, by the way. Magic's not a thing in Monster Hunter.
It's not.
Anything that happens that's quote unquote supernatural has a biological or a natural explanation behind it.
Right.
Which is a great thing about Monster Hunter, is that everything has an explanation.
Yeah.
For the most part. There's some things that can't really be explained, but there's nothing like teleportation or crossing the dimensional barrier except for like non-canon things that happen. Like let's say there's like a crossover. Like in Monster Hunter World, they did a crossover with The Witcher 3 and Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
Which
is
those games
cool.
have magic in them, so it makes sense why they're suddenly appearing. But the base world of Monster Hunter does not include things like this. So why they chose to do this, I don't really understand.
Yeah, because like it's just dumb the way that they're like introduced, because you know like it's the traditional like you know army.
They're in a Humvee. They got like a minigun on top of it. They're
and then they've got like a dune buggy.
They don't even say where they're going. They're just traveling through this random desert.
Well, I mean, like they're trying to scope out like where their Bravo team went.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's
like
that.
Their
that's
B
right.
team.
Like,
and so they're like,
their team
well,
just disappeared.
They're because like they have the recording of what happened, but they don't know what's happening, so they're going out to investigate.
Yeah.
And then the giant storm happens, but they sing this dumb army song.
Yeah.
And I'm all like, why? And I'm like, this is so dumb. Like I get it, like with traditional military army, like Rangers and stuff like that. Like of course, like they've got to do their thing. But it's like most of the time they're just shit talking, like. But like the fact that they just have this army song, and then like later on in the movie, she starts singing it to create a distraction because she's bait for the scorpion spider type monsters.
Nersilla.
So yeah.
Oh, how I wanna go, but they won't let me go.
But yeah, I just thought that was really dumb. That they're just like, oh, let's sing this song all together, and then like all of a sudden they get hit with the storm.
Yep, and then they're in the desert now.
Yeah, and then they're picked off one by one too.
Yes.
I'm trying to think of how they all died. But like there's the Black Diablos that comes first, and
which
he burrows in the sand. And stuff.
Yeah, it's basically a giant triceratops with wings and a club tail.
Yeah. Also, the fact that like when we're first introduced in the movie, we're introduced like to the hunters on
Yes.
the boat and stuff.
Yeah, they're
and
they're on
the
they're on a
storm.
sand ship.
They're going towards this tower that is causing the storm.
Yeah.
And like nobody's talking.
Yeah.
Nobody's talking, nothing's happening, or stuff is happening, but like pretty much nothing is happening. And I was all like, man, this is some fucking dumb CGI that I'm looking at, because like everybody gets thrown around because like the Black Diablos is like trying to like tip the boat over and stuff. And like the fact that everybody's like one of the character, I think it's the main character, the hunter, is like holding on.
Yeah.
And there's the girl, one of the girls is like holding on to somebody else.
Yeah.
And so I'm just like, this is really poor CGI. You could definitely tell that that's a blue screen. They're holding on to something that they're being hung up by a wire. So it's just like, this is just really stupid.
And then the hunter gets thrown off the ship.
Yeah, and that's the reason why that he's not with them, and he's trying to basically find them and stuff.
So Diablos is attacking the sand ship for seemingly no reason.
Right. We're not like told anything. We're not like shown very much of anything of why is going on. So
like in like the Diablos in this movie is basically being treated like a giant sand shark.
Yeah.
This whole opening scene when they first get put into the world is basically like ripped straight out of Jaws.
Right.
Where the Diablos takes them out one by one by burrowing in the sand.
Yeah.
And again, like even when Diablos is attacking the sand ship at the beginning, there's nothing to suggest that it would do that, because normally like Diablos are supposed to be territorial.
Yeah.
But like it's just attacking them unprompted. It's like a mindless monster. It's
right.
It's basically a giant bull in the games.
Yeah, and
it's it's herbivorous. It doesn't eat people. It eats plants.
And and especially when Mila Jovovich later on in the movie throws a rock in the sand, and then all of a sudden like it pops up, and then it's looking up to see if what's up there, like on the cliff that she's on, and it's all like I don't think it would do that though. Like, and I know it's just for the sake of the movie, just to make it more dramatic and stuff. But like, I'm just like, I'm pretty sure that's not how that works in the game. Because I've only played like
It's not.
I've only played like Monster Hunter for the 3DS.
Yeah.
And I didn't get that far into it because I'm just like, okay, well, I'm kind of bored, so I'm gonna stop playing. But I did have an interest to play Monster Hunter World, just because that like.
You should play Monster Hunter World.
I've been told before. And so like I had a fascination with like, oh man, like, cause I had a friend that told like, who's big into RPGs. So like one of his favorite games is like Diablo and stuff.
Yeah.
And so like he loves playing Diablo. I think he's probably played Hades and stuff. And so like he was going to get me into Monster Hunter, and he goes like, yeah, man, like, come on, like buy the game, play it. We'll get you all set up. Like we'll give you like a bunch of different armor and weapons that you can use to where it's going to be a lot easier for you to level up and stuff like that. And like he said the same thing for Diablo 2. Not for Diablo 2, but Diablo also. And so like I was like, oh man, like that's pretty cool. And so like I wanted to do it, but I just like never got around to doing it. But it's kind of like with Dark Souls like 3 and 2, where like those are the easier games to play versus the first one, which is like one of the hardest ones, and then Demon Souls is even the most hardest, like most difficult like game.
I'd say they're all
series.
pretty hard.
Yeah, but I mean like with mechanics and like how everything flows and stuff like that, like it's a lot more easier and stuff. But I think it's probably just because the technology is there.
Yeah,
it's more advanced. Instead of it being all clunky. But regardless, I never really got into Monster Hunter that much, so
it's a hard franchise to get into. I will say.
Right, yeah.
I wouldn't blame
I think
you.
because like all this basically for me to say that like I think Monster Hunter World, I feel like is like one of the more friendlier like games to get into. If you're gonna dive into one of the games, like Monster Hunter World is the more friendlier way to do that.
It was my first Monster Hunter game.
Instead of going like, oh, I'm gonna play Monster Hunter 1 and then 2 and then 3.
No,
it's like don't do that.
Don't do that.
Just play whatever one is out now.
Those
it
games.
doesn't matter. The story is not linear. It doesn't matter that much.
Oh yeah,
So,
definitely.
So, like, you just basically run around, you take out monsters, you get armor, you get weapons, and you just go and attack an even bigger and stronger monster. That's it.
It's a grind, but it's a fun grind.
Right.
So we're getting back to this. I also like how the aspect that man-made guns and stuff cannot harm people.
Right, because, like, they're
monsters.
using their, what is it? I'm drawing a blank on what it's called at the moment. They're 22, maybe? The giant, like, the turret that they use.
A minigun?
Yeah, that. I was thinking about, like, the shell that they use and stuff.
Oh, I don't know about that. But basically, they
use the minigun on it. Mila Jovovich also uses a rocket launcher on the Diablos.
And it just doesn't
does
work.
nothing. And it's not even because of the fact that, like, oh yeah, like, of course, man-made weapons aren't going to do shit on these monsters. It's like, no, that's not the reason why. It's just because they have really thick skin. And you kind of have to work on breaking it down to where it's, like, going to die.
I disagree. I think they actually meant to say that, yeah, man-made weapons don't work on these things. Because later on, you get to see them using the actual weapons that the hunters use. The more tribal weapons where they have a giant greatsword and they have some more dual blades. And those are effective.
Well, yeah, but it's also the thing to where, like, you know, we're going to constantly talk about this, too, of being the fact that, like, you go take out a monster, you get their, like, whatever from their body and stuff, and you makeshift armor and weapons and stuff from it to where you can go and fight more monsters with that stuff. So, like, and you're like, that makes sense, but it's not established in the movie.
No.
They're just like, you're not told, you're not even shown. You're just like, oh, all of a sudden, like, this sword is somehow able to do this, but a gun can't.
That's why I'm saying that there's no
or
exposition.
like a really powerful gun can't do this. It's like, what?
How can there possibly be an explanation of what's going on when one of the two characters who are on screen for about half the movie can't speak English, and there's this constant language barrier, which is so not fun to watch.
Yeah.
And don't you think it's super entertaining when you have two characters that can't communicate with each other,
right?
And so nothing gets conveyed, and it's just a bunch of silence.
My biggest thing, like, that I'm taking away from this movie specifically, is the fact that, like, oh man, Monster Hunter, so they're gonna run around and just, like, kill monsters, right? No,
they just run.
There's
for the
only
the
like
whole time.
two monsters that they really, like, fight, except for the one at the end.
Yeah.
Which was the Rathalos. Like, those are the only 3 fights that they do in the whole movie for monsters.
And then they fake you out with one fight at the very end, but then it cuts to credits.
Yeah. And of course we'll talk about that here shortly. But, like, but yeah, like, because you have the Nerscylla.
Yeah.
Who's like the spider scorpion type monster.
They're just giant spiders for the most part.
Right. And, like, even for that, it's like, okay, they run around them trying not to kill them, but up until they actually have to.
Yeah.
But yeah, basically mine's going a mile a minute here. But yeah, like, one of the biggest things was the fact that, like, hey, let's showcase all of these great monsters that are in these games, but only show them in very small doses. Okay, now I remember my original thought. Okay, so a movie like this where you basically have nothing happening and the only exciting bits, they're not that long.
Yeah.
Like in this context, it's like, okay, you know, like, hey, we have these monsters. They're going to fight the monster. Not really, though. And then it's all like, oh man, like, this is cool. Like,
action's over in maybe
I
3
really
minutes.
like the action sequences. Nothing really happens at all throughout the rest of this course of this movie. Like, the only exciting bits that I got excited for was, like, them fighting the monsters, and then that's it. And it's like, okay, now we have more mindless dialogue or mindless walking to someplace, or it's all like, especially with Mila Jovovich and the hunter, where they're quote unquote talking to each other, and that's boring. So,
and keep in mind, never in a Monster Hunter game do the characters or the story take center stage.
Yeah.
no one cares about the characters in most Monster Hunter games. You'll find that most players just skip over the dialogue because they want to go see the cool and interesting monsters and use the cool gameplay mechanics in order to play the video game.
Yeah, and the environments and stuff like that
in this movie, that is completely flipped.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a reason why the monsters take care of stages, because the human stuff is really boring and it doesn't matter for the most part.
Right. Because you have to establish the character as, like what Paul W.S. Anderson was trying to convey was like, oh yeah, Mila Jovovich is the moviegoer. So it's like she's thrust into this world just like we are when we first look at the game and blah, 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 blah. It's like that's basically, what I said earlier was that he was trying to convey that. And it's all like, we don't need that. We don't want that. We just want you to make this action movie in the realm of Monster Hunter. That's it. That's all that we want.
And again, it's another case where I don't see the character of Artemis, which, by the way, is supposed to be a joke of, like, Artemis is the goddess of the hunt in Greek mythology.
Right, yeah.
Who names their kid Artemis? Yeah. I don't see the character of Artemis. I just see Mila Jovovich.
Yeah.
And it makes it very hard for me to be...
perfectly white teeth, too.
Makes it very hard for me to root
bright
for her.
blue eyes.
To like... Oh, what is she going to get out of this? I know she's going to get out of this because
she's the main character.
She's the main character, and it's so obvious.
Well,
and she's in the military, so
yeah.
of course she's going to figure out a way to like survive because she's got survival skills.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of because I can't remember. Have you seen the Mortal Kombat remake?
No, not yet.
That came out like a year after this. Okay, so it's pretty much the same premise, right?
Yeah.
You have this no-name fucknut of a character that is not established in any of the games. He's just for the movie, and he's just thrusted into this world because he was. And it's kind of like the original Mortal Kombat movie, where it's like you've been specially chosen in this tournament to save Earth Realm.
Are you
type
serious?
Of thing.
That's what that is. Just a jobber main character.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's all that he is. Like, he's just there to establish the main story, and he's just like, hey, we're going to have you go off onto this adventure because you are specially chosen because of a birthmark that you have. Like, that's all that is. And that was one of the criticisms of the movie that people didn't like, was that you have this no-name, no-nothing character that has nothing to do with this franchise at all, even in the games. He's just in this movie.
But at least in Mortal Kombat, there's an established plot and story.
Yeah.
There is no plot in this movie.
There's not at all. You're just thrusted into this. It's all like, oh yeah, like Mila Jovovich is trying to find Bravo team. Now she's in the Monster Hunter world
and now
somehow,
she's
some
find
way.
Her way home. Let's get to the tower,
Right. It's like she doesn't understand how to get back home. She just wants to get back home, but she doesn't know how.
She's just a cardboard cutout of a like she can be replaced by literally anybody else.
Right. But yeah, one of the things I did like was the Nursella attack / the hideout scene.
Yeah.
That happens in this movie. To get back on track on more specifically about the movie. Because like I did like the hideout and stuff, but like one of my biggest things is that like Mila Jovovich immediately gets impaled.
Now I've got 3 left. What about you?
Yeah.
From one of them, and then like she just gets basically knocked out. She goes to sleep.
Yeah, because they're sleep monsters.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
They have toxin that puts you to sleep.
Right.
That is accurate to the games.
Yeah, and so like I was like, oh okay, like that's fine, but she gets impaled. Like that she would basically have the stinger go through her stomach.
Yeah.
And like especially with one of the characters, who was it? There's like a few of the characters they basically just get picked off one by one.
Who cares? It's just the
they're just
jobbers.
the generic person.
The rangers.
Yeah. They're cannon fodder.
I've already forgotten their names because they die so quickly.
Yeah. But yeah, so she wakes up in the nest, and I'm like, okay, this is actually pretty cool. Like she gets like caked on with the webbing and stuff like that, and she finds T.I.
Yeah.
And so she goes like, all right, like come on T.I., we're gonna get out of here. And then he's not able to because then his body just becomes a nest.
Yes, that's like weird sort of body horror segment in the middle of this film.
Yeah.
For seemingly no reason.
Oh my god!
Yeah. Also, I love how later on we have this shameless plug for Hershey's. Because also, I want to say this too. One, how did you just now remember that you have this candy bar? Two, hasn't it been a few days since you've had any food at all? Three, because I would imagine it's a desert, so you would think it would be hot, right?
How is it not melted?
Right. How is it not completely a puddle
Or
of chocolate?
at the very least, how is it not covered in sand?
Right.
At this point.
Yeah.
Also, I love the premise of random tribesman that doesn't speak your language.
Right.
Need to get along with him. Give him a Hershey's.
Right. Here's a chocolate bar.
Shameless, absolutely shameless product placement.
Yeah, product placement. That's what I was thinking. But yeah, and then so she takes an actual real bite of the chocolate bar, as you saw.
Yeah.
Because she goes chocolate, and it's all like, you did not take a bite.
No.
Not at all. Like you with your perfect white teeth. Get out of here.
It's so bad.
Yeah.
So good. It's chocolate. Chocolate.
Chocolate.
Yeah, chocolate.
Chocolate.
One of the things I freaking hated was the training montage.
Yes.
When it's just like, because now that they actually have an understanding.
Because after they beat the shit out of each other, by the way.
Yeah.
When they
They're
first see each other.
The first few scenes that they're in together, they just start beating the shit out of each other. Even though when he's first introduced, right, they get to the world and stuff, he fires an arrow at the bone of one of the rib cages.
Yeah.
And hits it with a powder to get their attention. They immediately start firing at him, which it makes sense because they don't know him and he could be treated as a hostile.
Yeah, they're contact.
Yeah, and so she goes wait, it's just chalk. And so he's telling him to get out of there because
he's trying to warn them.
Yeah, and so it's all you're gonna die essentially.
And then a couple of them die actually.
Right.
For real.
And so it's just oh, okay, cool. But now you have where they're now friends because they start understanding each other for the most part.
Kind of.
And so now we have the training montage of training Mila Jovovich in with the swords and stuff.
The dual blades.
The dual blades that she has.
Yeah.
But also the biggest thing is that she I forgot what I was gonna say because my mind was going. Of course, my mind's going a mile a minute for this movie.
So talk about.
Yeah. So, but yeah, we have the training montage, and especially where it was the fact that he tells her because she goes hey, we need to go to my car, we need to go to the Jeep.
Yeah.
And so he goes we can't because of the sand and because of Diablos. And he goes well, if basically telling her that if we get the stinger, if we kill one of the Nisala, then we can take the stinger and we can make it go to sleep.
Yes.
And
so that's their plan.
Yeah.
Which is kind of a solid.
Which does make sense.
Yeah, it would be a solid concept, right? Because that's kind of what you kind of do in the real games, where it's you try to identify a monster's weakness, then you prepare by getting materials and weapons and stuff that exploit that monster's weakness, then you go hunt it. Right.
And then you go and kill it, and then you do the same thing all over again.
Horrible execution.
Yeah.
Because they go and they actually lure out an Ursula from one of the dens, and they cut off its stinger so they can put it onto an arrow, and stuff like that, so they can put it to sleep. Which, by the way, Diablos is not weak to sleep in the game.
Yeah.
He's not susceptible to sleep. He's susceptible to paralysis.
Yeah.
So if they had a monster that had a
paralysis
venom instead of a venom that puts you to sleep, that might have worked.
Right.
So they completely got that wrong.
Yeah.
By the way, but we should mention that there's a lot of moments in this movie, in between from when we're doing the training montage and when we fight a monster, where there's just Mila Jovovich walking around the desert looking sad.
Yep.
And then it's just long drawn out scenes of these dramatic oh man, Like she's like wincing in pain, then she sits down. She tries to look for some water and she drink, and she doesn't have any. It's just like it's so boring.
I mean, like I understand when she gets out of the nest.
Yeah.
Of how like freaked out she is, so she like curls into a ball.
Yeah.
Right then and there, because it's like, one, you're in a strange place. Two, your whole team just died in front of you. Three, like one of your best guys also dies in you in the most horrific way possible. Like
now
that
she's
makes
all alone.
sense. Yeah,
So-
now she's all alone. Now she doesn't know what to do.
And now, so what do we do when there's only one character left? We don't have any inner monologue. We just have long, sullen shots of her walking through the desert canyon,
Trying to figure something out.
until she finds the hunter, and then later on in the movie, there's even more silence.
Yeah,
because
it's a lot of walking around. It's a lot of solemn silence.
It's
just
like
boring.
they could have had anything besides just like shots of just walking, you
Right.
know. So,
But yeah, and then like the biggest like thing to this game is the giant sword.
the great sword, yeah.
And so like she only has it for like 1 second in the movie.
'Cause
Otherwise, she just has the dual blades.
Because it's extremely heavy.
Right.
Like hunters are basically superhuman.
Yeah.
Because they eat so much more calories. This is actual lore reason, because
Right.
monsters are huge. They eat monster like nutrients and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And therefore they have things like they don't take fall damage.
Right.
Like their legs are just extraordinarily strong.
Yeah.
They can go for long periods of like without eating or drinking.
Yeah.
You know, they can survive in like volcanoes or like sub-zero temperatures for long
Right.
periods
They
of
have
time.
more durability.
So Mila Jovovich doesn't have any of that.
Right.
So she can't. She even when she tries using the dual blades, she like winces in pain because she drops it because she can't handle the energy.
Right.
From like what's called demon mode.
Yeah.
In the games where
Yeah,
she puts
She
the
puts them
blades up
together.
and then it sparks with energy and stuff like that.
What is that? You gotta tell me about that. Can't just do that to somebody.
I don't know. I think those are supposed to be fire dual blades, right?
Not. Yeah. Because later on, when the stampede happens in the forest area, her blades are on fire.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So they're supposed to be fire element dual blades, basically.
Yeah.
So.
But yeah, I don't know. Like I just thought that was pretty dumb because I'm like, oh, of course we gotta have a training montage. So
Yeah.
Why not? And like especially when she gets on the ship later on in the movie, because like we're just cutting a bunch of this stuff out just because it doesn't really matter because a lot of it's boring.
They do.
There's
They
no
do kill
there's no
the
dialogue.
Diablos, though.
Yeah, they do kill the Diablos because like we'll speed run through this part real quick. So they have a plan to essentially put it to sleep so that way that she can get to her Jeep, so that way she can get the rocket launcher. And so they deploy a distraction for the Diablos. And so it's like, okay, we're going to shoot this barrel out in the sand so that way it'll go towards the barrel and attack that instead of attacking them. And so like she manages to go to the Jeep to get the rocket launcher, fires it at him, does nothing. And the ranger, or rather the hunter, finally is able to fire the arrow into his eye.
Yeah.
And it doesn't really affect him that much.
No.
Like, because his eye pretty much goes back to normal and it heals itself. And he just goes like, all right, you know what? You're done. Like, you're fucked now, buddy. And pretty much like he ends up, like the hunter ends up getting on top of him.
Yeah.
And tries to put the great sword through the top of his head, in between the horns that he has. And Mila Jovovich has this gauntlet where she is able to shoot.
It's a slinger. It's a grappling hook, basically.
Yeah. And so and it's also like a projectile weapon.
Yeah, it's like a slingshot.
Yeah. And so she's able to use her grappling hook, get up on top of him, and then push the great sword further into his head to kill it. And they managed to kill it. So
there we go. That's one monster dead. Yay!
Yeah.
We killed the evil monster that was trying to kill us for seemingly no reason. So.
Right. It's like no explanation, no nothing. It's dead now. And they managed to go to the plant, or not the forest area.
It's like an oasis.
Yeah. And so this actually made me laugh. Was that like, so they have this bit where they have the bait bit.
Yeah.
And because when they want to get the stainer from the Nursula, he wants her to be the bait.
Yeah.
And so she goes like, "Oh, so you just wanted me to be bait?" And he goes like, "Yeah, bait." And later on, when they're trying to take out the Diablos and they're running and stuff, and so they stop in the middle of the sand, they split because he runs out and he goes like, "I'm bait."
Yeah.
And he runs out so that way he can distract the Diablos. And then when they get to the oasis, there's water, of course.
Yes.
And so she goes like, "Hey, I'm gonna go get a drink of water." He goes like, "Okay, go for it." And then all of a sudden, like, there's this like piranha fish thing that jumps out.
It's a cephalos.
Yeah. And so goes to attack her and he cuts off its head. And so she falls and he's laughing at her and he goes like, "Haha, bait." And I'm like, okay, that was actually pretty good. So
Tony Jaa actually is the one bright spot in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
He's kind of campy, but like he literally has nothing to work with.
No.
He has no character. Like I don't think he really has been given much direction.
Right.
And he's getting nothing from Mila Jovovich because
Yeah.
she's just like I said, a cardboard cutout. Basically, he's
the more established character and she's just there.
which is crazy because he doesn't speak English.
Right.
He does all of this stuff through broken English and hand gestures.
Right.
You know, so
Yeah. And of course, like, he tells her like what the monsters are, so that way we as the audience know what the monsters are too. So
which it doesn't. That's a really bad explanation of what he gives. So
yeah, because I have it pulled up here. It's the
Apsaros.
Yeah, Apsaros that they see, which are kind of like they're not Stegosauruses. Drawing a blank on what the dinosaur is called.
Ankylosaurus.
Yeah, the one with like the giant shell on its back and stuff.
They're herbivorous dinosaurs, basically.
Yeah, that's basically what they are. And
Because
like,
gonna be real, some monsters in Monster are just dinosaurs.
yeah, pretty much.
So
And some of them are just dragons.
in
So-
in Monster Hunter World, there's literally just a fire breathing T-Rex.
Yeah.
In that game, and
Right.
it's cool, but they even though it's basically a dinosaur, they basically still call it a monster.
Yeah.
But the Apsaros are literally just like
Giant dinosaurs.
Ankylosauruses, basically.
Yeah, because then they basically camp out for the night. They take a few back because he has like alcohol, or
Oh, yeah.
essentially their equivalency to alcohol.
I forgot about this, but like he was praying to a shrine.
Yeah.
For his like wife and son, apparently.
Yeah,
So
and so like it's not established or anything like that.
we don't have to hear anything
because
about that.
because she also asks him of going like, "Oh, is this your family?" And he goes like, "Is this home?" And
Home.
so he just goes like, basically saying that his home is gone, like he doesn't have a home and stuff or a family. So, but then we now it's nighttime and they are waking up to the Rathalos just decimating the area with fire, which
Yeah.
unprovoked. Why? I don't know. And you're not told why. And then we are now introduced to the rest of the hunters from the beginning part of the movie. And we got Ron Perlman, who has the flame sword. It's just like they're going to be stampeded to death. And they use the fire to basically create a
gap in the stampede.
a gap to where they don't get trampled over. And Stampede is done, and she goes like, "Hey, cool, like thanks." And he goes like, "Don't thank me yet." Punches her, knocks her out.
Knocks
I'm
her
like,
out immediately.
good. She deserves it. She's annoying.
Thank you.
Don't thank me yet.
And wakes up to her being in chains in
In a
a
cell.
cell on the boat.
You're basically in the brig in
Yeah.
the sand ship.
And she manages to, because like now they're all like inspecting her.
Yeah, so like the characters that are inspecting her are loosely based off of people from Monster Hunter World. So
Yeah.
you have two handlers and then another hunter.
Right.
And the handlers are basically the people who log all the information that their hunters go through. They're partnered up, basically.
Yeah, and that's the reason why that the one girl has like these
spectacles.
Yeah, spectacles
Yes.
on where she can like change the zoom on them and stuff.
And
So-
the costumes in this movie are kind of bad for those guys. They just look like cheap cosplay of the characters in the games. They're not very... The budget on this movie, like I said, was only $60 million.
Yeah, the budget mostly went towards Mila Jovovich, T.I., Ron Perlman, and the monsters. That's it.
Oh yeah, like but even the monster CGI sometimes is really bad. You can see like close-ups of Diablos at the very beginning.
Yeah.
It's not good.
No,
the
it's not.
the green screening is bad. It's not good.
yeah.
So, but yeah, they're just sort of poking and prodding her because they don't speak English either.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, because one of the girls is like whistling at her,
yeah,
and I'm just like, why are you whistling at her? Like the fuck? Like, stop it. But yeah, so like they walk away, and she sees that there's the kitchen underneath her.
oh yeah.
So she manages to like break the lock and get underneath there, and then we're introduced to probably my favorite character, the Meowscular.
The Meowscular chef. Which is a character in Monster Hunter World.
Because and I remember this when I played it for the first time, is that like you actually create your own like your
Palico.
own Palico is what they're called.
Hunters receive companions that are basically
Like cat people.
they're small like cats, but like they're
Yeah.
more anthropomorphic basically.
They're
But they
able
don't-
to fight. They're able to like walk around on their two legs and stuff.
In
So-
most Monster Hunter games, they don't speak. They have their own sort of language, but in the language, they have a lot of cat puns.
Right.
So the Palicos are a huge part of Monster Hunter because they're present in every single game. And the Meowscular chef is in Monster Hunter World specifically, and he is a chef in the actual
and
game.
he
'cause
cooks up your food to give you like your health and like different
But
attributes and stuff like that.
The Meowscular
Or
chef
buffs,
in
I
this
should
movie
say.
just looks really bad.
Yeah. I thought it was funny that like she was going to go up and get the meat cleaver.
Yeah.
And then he just shows up out of nowhere and just like goes to like swipe at her. And so then he's freaked. And then so she like is freaked out by it. And then he like the hunter comes downstairs. And I'm like, okay, if you knew that she was going to break out, why just put her in there in the first place?
Yeah.
And he knew exactly where she was. Like, the hell? And so, like, he tells her, like, what it is.
Oh, we should mention this. So this is the Admiral. This is Ron Perlman.
It the... Oh, yeah, because, like, she goes upstairs because the hunter takes him upstairs.
Yeah.
Or takes her upstairs. And the Admiral, Ron Perlman, is the only other one that speaks English.
Yes. And
to finally give us an establishing reason that is going on.
And what's
That's
so
the
stupid
only reason why.
is the reason that he speaks English and that she can understand him is actually supposed to be because of a reason in the game.
Yeah.
Because there was a tie-in quest line in the actual games with the movie.
Yeah.
And in that movie, you are Mila Jovovich, and you come back after the events of the movie.
Right.
And it's like the past, eventually.
Yeah.
So you get to fight a Black Diablos again, you fight Arathos again, and you speak with the Admiral who is in the game.
Yeah.
And he doesn't speak English, but she gives him a book that translates all of the monster language into English. So that's how he speaks English in this. That's what is the implication, I mean. It's
Right.
so stupid.
Yeah.
Because if you haven't played the games, then you have no reason, like, why is this the only guy that can speak English?
He says, because, like, she goes like, oh, you speak English? She goes like, yeah, I studied your guys' language. I'm like, but how? Like, how? Like, there's nothing here that would give any insight. The only thing that I can think of is that they managed to find something off of Bravo Team. But even then, they didn't find them.
Like, maybe
because they were burnt to a crisp because of the
they could have shown him, like,
Rathalos.
if that was the case, they could have showed him, like, at the beginning before the chase scene with Diablos, like, they found the Bravo Team and they found a book or something.
Right.
But even then, how did you learn the English language that quickly?
Right. In what, the span of a few days?
Yeah.
If that?
It makes absolutely no sense unless like you got that little bit of it's non-canon, by the way, as well. That little bit in the game, which like most people aren't going to play the games. They're just going to watch this movie in the theaters because they thought it looked cool, and then it just makes no freaking sense.
Yeah, but the Meowsicle chef comes up and gives Ron Perlman the food.
Yeah,
and he has his pint of beer, and so it's got like a freaking thing of hair in there, and he goes like, "Hey, you gonna drink it out of my mug again?" And he turns back and he just like snarls at him, and he just goes like, "I told you to knock that shit off," pretty much. And then like we give some explanation of going like, well, the reason why that you're here is because that there's this like thing that's going on with these freaking tower and
universes are colliding and they're overlapping with each other, yada yada. So
whatever bullshit. And he goes like, okay, like, and we're gonna leave. If you want to go back to your home, I suggest you come with us. We'll get you there.
Yeah,
we'll take you to the portal. You can jump through, and like we'll take care of the rest. And so we leave at dawn, and I'm like, this isn't dawn. This is like morning. Because the sun is not coming up. It's just up. It just looks like in the middle of the afternoon, like clear blue sky.
We need a dawn.
Yeah. Dawn apparently means in the middle of the afternoon. We're going to the tower.
I guess.
So the
tower.
The thing that I liked about this, which I thought was funny too, was that Mila Jovovich turns back to the crew, and then there's the Meowsicle chef that kisses at her. And so she like does a smile. I would have been weirded out by that. I would have been like,
yeah,
the fuck. Like, I thought that was actually pretty funny. But it's just a lot of walking now, because then they go through a volcano, and now they get to the tower, and then it's just like, all right, what's the game plan here? The Rathalos is here. What are we gonna do? All right, this is the game plan. Fight it. And that's basically it, because they see the portal, and it's opening and closing, and so they tell, like, Ron Perlman tells her that, like, well, it's unstable, so kind of have to kill it. We're gonna have to kill the Rathalos, and then we're gonna figure out a way to like actually keep it open long enough for you to get through.
Yeah.
So in the midst of their fight, she's at the cliff, and she gets knocked over into the portal, and now she's transported back to her world, to our world. And then she basically gets on a helicopter from
she gets airlifted out of there.
Yeah, from the search team that's trying to look for her team and stuff. And so she is finally able to become conscious. And they ask her, like, what happened to Bravo team and your team? And she goes, like, they're all dead. And, like, why don't you ask, like, what are you wearing? Like, where'd you go? Like, you weren't wearing this before. Like, what happened?
What are you wearing this ugly ass fit for?
Yeah. And then the Rathalos comes out of the portal too, and basically decimates a tank, the 2 helicopters.
Now
and
this is
everybody.
This is cool.
Yeah,
this is the one cool scene is when the Rathalos is just decimating the American military.
Right. I'm like, this is actually pretty cool, because, like, you know, their guns do nothing on him, and he's just able to basically kill them and stuff.
Again, reinforcing that for some reason, for some magical reason, American military guns just don't work on Rathalos, even though his wings are very susceptible to range damage.
Yeah.
So, also, one thing I should mention is Rathalos is not this big in the actual games. He's bigger than an AC-130.
Yeah.
Rathalos is huge.
Yeah. And
Rathalos in this movie is also like characterized to be just this really generic dragon.
Mm-hmm.
Fire breathing, he flies, and he's got like 2 wings and then 2 little feet and a barbed tail and then some sharp teeth. Normally in the games, Rathalos has poisonous talons, so that's another like aspect of Rathalos' gameplay, is it swoops down kind of like an eagle does,
right, and
attacks things. Not so much in this movie; it just bites things and just breathes fire and shoots fireballs, essentially. So it's just been dumbed down to sort of this generic dragon.
Yeah.
So, but this fight scene is actually pretty cool because Mila Jovovich eventually does exploit a weakness that it does have, where it ignites using its flame sack in its mouth.
Yeah, because Ron Perlman tells her that, like, hey, when it's at its weakest is when it's about to breathe fire.
Which is not true in the games.
Yeah, I think it's just to basically give the thing of going
works.
like, oh, we need a way to beat this because it's like super OP.
Yeah,
pretty much. So that's what I feel like that's what it is.
But
yeah, and so like I thought this was actually pretty cool. The way that she took it down was like, she sees that it's about to like ignite in its throat to breathe fire, and so she takes like it's not
a flare.
Yeah, I was gonna say it was like a firecracker, but that's not it. But yeah, she takes a flare and puts it in her slinger and shoots it at its throat, and then it manages to like explode and stuff. But then all of a sudden, like it's still alive.
Yeah,
like it's getting knocked out for a second, and then it wakes back up, and then it's about to kill her, and then the hunter comes out of nowhere and fires arrows at it, and one of them manages to actually get into like a scratch that has at its throat to where like it explodes in his throat.
Yeah,
and now it's dead.
Yeah,
and then she was like, "Wait, what are you doing here?" And he goes like, "Alien speak," and so because like of course he just says something, and they basically do like the whole like, yeah, dab me up, friendo. And then Ron Perlman comes in and he goes like, yeah, it seems like we got more work to do because my world is starting to integrate into yours, and now we got to fight these monsters before they decimate your world and whatever. And like that's just basically where it ends. And like that's the sequel bait for you.
No, it doesn't end.
But I was gonna say, because you told me about this yesterday, because I watched this a few years ago.
Yeah.
Okay, I think back from 2023 or 2022. So I watched it the first time. I fell asleep. It was so boring. I think the last time that I think I was falling asleep at the TI part. I think that was the last time that I watched it. But like I continued it. I just didn't remember what specifically was going on. But you told me yesterday that there was an end credit scene or a mid credit scene, and I was just like, "There is?" I'm like, I scrubbed through, I didn't see anything, but I missed it. That's why. And like we have the mid credit scene where it's the Meowsicle chef is fighting too, but we're more alluded to the fact that there's a hooded person that we don't see, like their face or nothing. So, who's this?
I don't have,
and that's it.
Well, no, that's not it. Because at the very, very end, after they get done fighting Rathalos and Ron Perlman and the Hunter show up, and then, another Hunter, I think it was another Hunter that shows up.
Yeah.
So, all of a sudden, at the very end of the movie, there is another monster that shows up.
Yeah.
It's called a Gormagala.
Mm-hmm.
It's a monster that's not even in Monster Hunter World. I told you about this.
Yeah.
It's a monster that's originally in Monster Hunter 4.
Yeah.
It shows up, and they get ready to fight it. They like the hunter pulls out Tony Jaa pulls up a new weapon. It's a glaive-like weapon.
Yeah.
Like Ron Perlman has his like switch axe, and then she has the dual blades, and they're about to get ready to fight it, and it cuts to credits.
Right, cuts to credits.
Are you kidding me?
And like I said, that's sequel bait.
Yeah,
I think that they planned to make a sequel, but it never kicked off because
no,
nobody cared.
I think it's still in development.
Is it?
I think W.S. Aaron said he was very interested in making one, and so was Mila Jovovich. So I think it might still be in development. So
of course,
that was a punch to the gut.
Yeah.
Because how and why do you like waste the money to make this CGI model of a monster just to show it for less than 60 seconds?
Right.
And a monster that has absolutely nothing to do, like, it has its own like swaths of problems with it, basically. And we're just completely skipping, like we're just gonna completely say nope, that's gonna be for the next movie, but like nobody's gonna want to come see a movie because it was a flop and it is terrible, and I hate this film so much, full of inaccuracies.
But yeah,
sequel
so
bait.
that's the end of Monster Hunter from 2020, the
Mercifully.
movie. So now we can give our consensus on this being a rent, buy, or skip. Hence the reason why this is called RBS in the first place. So, is it a rent? It's all right. Or is it a buy, which means it's the best of the best of the best with honors, sir?
The best of the best of the best, sir. With honors.
Or, as I put in the clip, a fuck yeah movie. or is it a skip? It's the biggest piece of dog shit that I've ever seen. So, I will go first because I feel like you're going to have a lot more to say about it than I do.
Go ahead.
So I would say that it's a skip.
It's the biggest piece of dog shit.
Just because of the fact that, one, if I fall asleep during your movie the first time I'm watching it, it's not good. It's and like, here's the reason behind it. If you're more excited about some of the action sequences than what's actually going on, like throughout the course of the movie, there's a problem there, right? Like I already said earlier of the fact of being like, well, I got really excited when they were fighting the monsters, and then I pretty much like scrolled on my phone because nothing was happening. Like they were mindlessly talking, trying to get to know each other, talking about whatever bullshit. A lot of walking, a lot of Mila Jovovich doing nothing in this movie. So, acting's pretty bad, not gonna lie. The only cool things about it were the monsters and the actual people that were in that world. That's it. And of course, like, you got the sequel bait at the end. So it's all like, yeah, we've got this really cool, like, oh man, like we're gonna fight these more monsters and introduce more stuff because like our world is being like established into the Monster Hunter world because they're starting to converge each other and blah blah blah. Yeah, and then it's just cuts. And then we have a mid-credit scene where it's going to probably go nowhere. So,
Yeah, so.
Again, sequel bait. So, for all those reasons, I just say that it's a skip. It's the biggest piece of dog shit that I've seen so far. So, Jack, what say you?
Listen, I'm going to give a little bit of a leeway to this movie because if you don't know anything about the franchise, at the very best, it's an action-y sort of film that has a sort of turn your brain off sort of thing because it has the whole military like versus giant monsters sort of vibe to it.
Right.
For anybody who is a fan of the franchise, it's a skip. And it is a skip, and it is a skip with disdain.
Right.
The very few movies that come out give you this sort of like dread when you see who's directing it, who's starring in it, that sort of thing. What the premise of the movie is like when you see the first trailer, you like then this movie.
Yeah, because like to piggyback off of your thing about like the director and star, and so it's all like when you see that, oh, it's a Paul W.S. Anderson movie. Oh, and Mila Jovovich is in it. Well, I only know one way this is going. Kind of like the Resident Evil movies. They're not great, but they are a turn your brain off, just sit there and enjoy what the hell is being shown on screen, because they're not being faithful to the games at all. Like, and it's just its own contained story, and that's fine.
I believe that it's not on purpose, but the complete ignorance of many points of what makes Monster Hunter an interesting franchise to experience as a video game are just present in this film. Just so many, like, the only thing that I can think is that somebody watched the first part of like a Monster Hunter game in like the olden days and thought that was the whole game,
right? And
then just made a movie about it.
Yeah.
For somebody who claimed to say that they really love these games, there's not a whole lot of things that reference the games other than the giant monsters, which are still wrong. They still have a lot of inaccuracies about them. And the story is non-existent. There's nothing to root for. The monsters, if you haven't played the games, they just seem like generic, like giant monsters that are there for the main character to kill and get out of the way. Yeah. Which is such a shame. And I would advise anybody who is a fan of Monster Hunter to avoid this movie like the plague. Yes. And for that reason, I'm going to give it like the massivest of skips.
Yeah. It's the biggest piece of dog shit.
Because not only is it boring, it's horribly executed. For such an amazing premise and so much to work with in terms of source material. Yeah. You decide to use almost none of it, and instead make it all about Mila Jovovich.
Right. I feel like that it's kind of like basically what this movie is giving is basically the fact that, oh, I was told from a few people about what Monster Hunter is, and I'm just going to take out the big important things and just make my own thing with it. And especially where he even said like, oh yeah, I decided to put this person in this movie to basically play as the moviegoer.
So you basically...
But you don't establish anything for the moviegoer to base your thing off of.
Oh, so yeah, you succeeded in making us just like Mila Jovovich Aramis in the fact that we have no idea what's going on ever.
Right.
Nothing is explained.
Nothing's
established. And then the movie ends abruptly, and we get to see a couple cool fight scenes.
Right.
Maybe at the end, and then a massive sequel bait that's going to go nowhere.
Yeah.
Because this movie bombed.
Right.
And you're probably not going to get anybody else to come back to watch the second one.
Right. So, anything else?
No, this movie sucks.
Review? Okay.
This movie's terrible.
Yeah. So now we'll move on to Suggestive People, where we will take a 1, 10, sometimes both star review on IMDb and see what the idiots of the internet have to say. So, since we both said that it's a skip, we're going to do a 10-star review, which I already have pulled up. So, this person says, it's a great monster movie. The movie starts out fast with great action and doesn't let up.
Not true.
Yes, it does. The CGI throughout looked absolutely stunning, and the fact that the majority of the fight sequences involving monsters happen in broad daylight only speaks to how incredible the action and effects were. No, there's only like 2 fights that happen during the day and 2 fights that happen at night. So, like, you're on there, bud. The action was fast-paced, the special effects excellent, and the storyline was interesting. What storyline are you talking about? There was no story. And the fact that like the special effects were excellent, it's yes and no. The action was fast-paced, yeah, but it was a little too fast where it's only like 2 minutes and then that's it. Certainly not a ton of depth to the characters and definitely not a deep plot.
You just said the story was interesting.
Yeah, you just said that the storyline was interesting. You can't just like go hand in hand of going like, but the storyline didn't have.
You just
depth.
contradicted yourself, buddy.
Yeah. But this isn't the type of movie you see for the writing and awards it's going to receive.
What?
That's why you go and see movies, is because of the writing and the awards it's going to win. Like, what do you mean? You see it because you're hoping to see some awesome action and great monster effects that are on par with Kong Skull Island or Godzilla King of the Monsters.
No!
Those are definitely a turn your brain off type of movie. This is just brain dead movie. That's what this is.
That's no, like that's not even a close comparison.
No. And this movie definitely delivered. No, it didn't. Can't wait to buy it on 4K Blu-ray when it comes out. Well, bud, I'm glad that you bought it on 4K because it's like it's pretty much split. There's like 80 people that gave it a thumbs up saying that it's helpful. 79 people decided to say thumbs down.
Do I see that there's a line at the very review up on top that says this is a must-see for CGI fans?
Yeah. So this movie is... Damn! This movie was far more than I ever expected. CGI was fantastic.
No, it wasn't.
Monsters looked really good, and the actors were really good. No, they weren't. Because there's only like a handful of people that were actually in this movie. You can see a lot of effort went in the visual part of the movie.
It was a $60 million budget.
Yeah. The only thing that was really missing was a backstory to explain things.
Yes!
Exactly. So you can't say that it's a 10-star review because there's nothing there. But I watched this in 4D, and I'm still in shock of how good it was. This is
4D?
Yeah. Because there are 4DX movies, but I don't know why this movie was in 4D. Right. And I'm still in shock of how good it was. This is must-see for CGI fans.
CGI fans?
No, it's not.
Who's
seen
a
better,
fan of CGI?
I've seen better CGI in most of the new Marvel movies, okay? Like,
damn, that's crazy.
And that's saying a lot. So, but... yeah, I don't know. That was just a bunch of dumb right there. But
I'm so glad we're done with this.
Yes.
Let's never talk about it again.
Yeah. No shit. But anything else on this movie that you want to talk about, Jack? Anything about Monster Hunter?
Play Monster Hunter World. Educate yourselves. It's a fantastic game.
Don't watch this movie.
Even play Monster Hunter Rise. Also a fantastic game. Play Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate.
Yeah.
Good game. Don't watch this movie. If you like Monster Hunter, you want to get into Monster Hunter, don't use this movie as a jumping off point.
Yeah. And this isn't even good for like, oh man, like if you don't want to play the games, you could watch the movie because that's enough. No, it's not.
No,
just don't even waste your time on the movie.
Don't use this as a substitute for watching the movie.
Yeah, don't waste your time. Don't do anything about this movie. It's just bad.
This is the worst birthday gift I've ever received.
I was gonna say happy birthday, Jack.
Oh my goodness.
So glad we talked about this movie for you.
Yeah. I'm so glad for me.
Which it's so funny because we both talked about video game movies for our birthdays because last year I talked about Street Fighter and this year you talked about Monster Hunter. So
yep. So
but it just works out that way. But anyhow, thank you everybody so much for watching, listening, tuning in, how you guys are doing it. Again, be sure to subscribe, follow the podcast. Again, leave a comment in the comment section below, share this around, and can't wait for next week's episode and the following month because, again, we're talking about spooky movies. So prepare your body for that shit. And we'll see you guys next week for something else. So, bye.
Bye.